Here are 5 questions that you are guaranteed to be asked at your marriage interview. How do I know? I'm an immigration attorney with over 20 years of experience, and I have been to hundreds of these marriage interviews. Now, before we dive right into the questions, I want to tell you that the questions you might have already known and you may have guessed. The problem is in the answers. And these are the things that clients often get wrong. These are the things that clients answer incorrectly. And we'll go over them to make sure that you do not mess up at your immigration marriage interview. Jumping right into them. Number 1, name. Now this may sound very, very obvious. Obviously I know my spouse's name, but that means middle names. That means maiden names. That means other names used. Do not come into a marriage interview and hear for the very first time that your spouse has a middle name from an immigration officer. That is not what you want. Spelling of names. Don't come in and say, oh, it's a foreign name, I don't know how to spell it. Know the name and the spelling of your spouse. And again, as I said, it might be very obvious that you will be asked for the name, but the answers that clients give, that I've seen people give, that land people in hot waters are these. Incorrect names. One other thing, if your spouse goes by a nickname, make sure you know their legal name, their government name. Do not say, all I know is Joe. Number 2, date of marriage. Very, very important one. One people get wrong all the time. Know your date of marriage. This is not a good time to say, oh, I'm really bad with dates, which is the one that comes up a lot. The date of marriage is something that you should know. Number 3, the third question that you are guaranteed to be asked at your marriage interviews: how you met your spouse. The immigration officer is looking to hear your story, how you guys met. How did this happen? Did you run into them on the street? Did a friend introduce you? Did you meet on a dating app? And the problem here is a lot of people you generally know how they met their spouse, they start shying away from the true story and start making up things. Immigration does not care if you met on an app. They don't care what the app was. If it was Hinge, if it was Tinder, if it was Field, if it was sugarbabies.com. They just want to make sure that you're answering the same, that you guys both know where you met. And that's what's really important. They don't care what kind of a relationship you have. They just want to make sure that you have a relationship and that you are answering these questions correctly. So very often I prepare people. We talk about how they met and the interview, and comes the day of the interview, all of a sudden they met at church or through a friend, and this is the first time anyone's hearing about this. Don't do that, because if both of you get this answer wrong, you will be in a lot of hot water. Number 4, how did you decide to get married? And this is another one that people are always making up and not answering correctly. Now, who proposed to whom? Your answers are always like some grandiose proposals. Again, immigration doesn't care how you guys decided to get married. Maybe you were sitting on the couch one day and one of you turned to the other and said, hey, you want to get married? If that's the case, just tell the truth. Please don't make up stories about Central Park proposals and boat rides, on the canal. That's not what they want to know. They want to know who proposed to whom. Was there a proposal? Was there a plan to get married? Was there a ring? Was there an engagement ring and a wedding ring, or just one or just the other? There are no wrong answers here. The only wrong answers are if the two of you are giving different answers that do not align. So don't make stuff up. And the number 5 question that you're guaranteed to be asked at your marriage interview are names of your family members, parents, siblings, and children, if there are any. This is another one that for some reason people get into hot water about. If you know the name of your spouse's parents, say. However, if for some reason your spouse does not speak to his or her mom, or his or her dad, or his or her brother or sister, then just say, listen, I don't know the name of her dad because she hasn't talked to him since blah, blah, blah. I don't know the name of her sister because they're not speaking. Don't guess. And don't pretend to know. It's okay if someone's not on good terms with their family member and that you've never met them. It's much worse if you say that you do met them and then your spouse says that actually I haven't spoken to my sister in years. They seemingly are obvious questions, but people get them wrong all the time, and now you won't have to.